This is a challenge to Nicola Sturgeon, and I guarantee you that Nicola Sturgeon will brick it. I'll make a claim that I can say with 100% certainty will happen. If Nicola Sturgeon is prepared to go on the record and sit with me and answer 5 key questions on my accusation, which I can back up with a matrix of official government evidence that this Scottish Government, and has been for 10 years, and in opposition, institutional child abusers. Institutional child abuse can be defined as any institution denying their children, the population they represent, their basic human rights as afforded to them under ECHR, the European Convention of Human Rights, specifically that subset that was brought into the British legislation. And remember, that's a subset, that's not the complete raft. The same is true of the United Nations Convention of Human Rights, which the Scottish Commission for Human Rights is compelling Nicola Sturgeon to accept. The fact that they are accepting it is just one more of the matrix of evidence that the Scottish Government is institutionally abusing children. Personal evidence: 18 years of denied contact to my daughter without any evidence to support it, and no egregious claims made by the mother, other than, I would rather that me and my new boyfriend raise our children. Well, that doesn't respect the human rights of the child in question or the other parent. The other parent, if they are like the majority in Scotland, unmarried parents, the male parent has no rights. And people are under the illusion that the change in 2006, brought about partly by my case, as other cases which are vast on the historical books of the Scottish judiciary, it got that review. But think about it, ladies, for a moment. If someone's to tell you, yes, you have your human rights and they are inalienable, but here's how it goes. If the father says he doesn't want you to have contact, you'll have to wait to get to court, and you'll have to go through possibly years of legal process, even if no egregious claims are made in that claim for you not to have contact. And then it'll be left to a judge who will not be in a jurisdiction where he's compelled to accept fact, like a criminal suspect would be given the privilege of only being accused if someone could prove that they're guilty of something. No, you're left with their discretion. Their discretion might not like the look of your hair. You won't know that, because when they make their decision, in another 300 years of abuse by the judiciary, they do not have to give you a blow-by-blow account. Of course, you can use that to make an appeal, and you should understand this. The judiciary love you to make an appeals, because whatever they do, they never pay for their malfeasance. And when a child is denied access to one of their parents, beginning with the fact that they are male rather than female as a starting rationale, and then that when those males who are being denied go to seek why that is. And for example, the judiciary, under the form of the Judicial Office for Scotland's body for the sheriffs called the Sheriffs Association, which every member of the judiciary is a member of at present, they wrote a letter stating all the reasons and rationales why unmarried fathers should not have automatic rights, which tells you right away they have a different set of rights. And those reasons, which are not founded in any evidence, and those reasons which are also potentially the predilections of unmarried mothers, married fathers, married mothers commit, when they're not actually relevant or part of the issues in individual cases, parents are still being denied and children still being denied family life. Now, the Scottish Government support this. So the Scottish Government, when they passed the 2006 Family Law Scotland Act, had to, like all acts, go to the Queen and her private secretary and seek royal assent. Now, to get royal assent, our country does not deny the sovereignty of any of its parliaments to make laws that do not respect human rights. But when they do, they are compelled under law to declare that when seeking royal assent. This has 2 purposes: that you, the informed observer, who have been given the right to make votes, can do it in an informed way. You are an informed voter. To not respect this law is fraud. And it's an indication that you think your position is not very popular. In other words, the vast majority of the people in Scotland understand the almost constitutional conditions that brings to bear on politicians, that they will respect the basic human rights of people, and in this case the right to family life, and also the right to innocence until proven otherwise, none of which are, whether you like it or not, even if your father, whose no one's rights are being threatened, even if your child will get access to both parents, by the position of law that I've just outlined, you have not been respected as citizens. And that Nicola Sturgeon talks about misogyny, and in those terms, I mean, I could say misogyny is quite irrational. She does not, as a paid public servant, sit down and codify what she's saying. She is basically projecting a neuroses, a psychosis against men. And she's not even got a psychosis which she can back up with evidence. At the same time, they want to criminalise misogyny. Well then, Nicola, why not criminalise poverty for children? Why not criminalise failure to support old folk when they become infirm? No, you want to look at upskirting because you're a typical hollow snake oil salesman who has no morality other than the morality of keeping up the pretense of being a concerned politician who does not have a clue how to better our country. That's the fact. Your whole preface is to maintain power. And I'm here to tell you, I'm going to sweep that power from under your feet. And I'm going to do that with two things. Common sense and that thing that I know is absolutely true regardless of the vast opinions that make up the makeup of the British population. They understand fairness. And they also understand a snake oil salesman when it's presented to them in an irrefutable way based on fact. I'm seething at the abuse of my child, and rightly so. And how dare you take my seething to be a perception of fear and alarm for you? You've not only caused a perception of fear and alarm to me, and towards the population, you have actualised that into physical, mental and social abuse. You have done nothing about it. And by the fact that you go on about misogyny, male power, white power, you call Mr. Bannon a racist, but don't provide any backup. So you're also slanderous. You say you wouldn't stand on a podium. How can you stand yourself? Because if Bannon is an extremist, you're just the same, just in a different cheek of the same butt, and you know it. So today I'm going to tell you that I wrote to a challenger about institutional child abuse, and this sycophant, this psychosis, meant that she could not do anything but help expose that I am telling you the truth. Because what did she do? She sent me a letter which she did not sign, which is a deliberate legal tactic. It was signed by someone else, saying that I referred you to contact the child abuse inquiry that's looking into historical child abuse in the care. And right away I did what she would say. I phoned up this colleague, this paid public servant again, who's doing irrational things, not doing basic codified rational behaviour within the remit of the job that would make you know that they understand the job they're doing. No. She decided that I should go to a child abuse inquiry that does not cover the remit of institutional child abuse by the politicians, the government and the parliament. But I'm going to do it, and I have already initiated that. I've been sent the pack. But like me, when I contacted the contact for this inquiry, they said, I don't know if that covers it, but we'll send you the stuff anyway. So this is a delay tactic. The Police Investigation Review Commission are currently investigating my charges, which were halted by the Chief Area Commanders without explanation, against the judgment so far of sergeant level police officers looking into my claims of institutional child abuse, legislative fraud, which I've outlined for you, and the perjury of one of her members who was my constituency MSP, who if you Google my name, Brian McKerrow, you will see that I was told that I threatened to take up arms against her. She lied, and I can prove she lied, and I can prove that the police concocted, along with the Procurator Fiscal Service, a baseless charge. Basically, they perverted the natural course of justice to say there is no criteria to pursue this man in any way whatsoever. And now I am classed as a violent stalker. I've never been violent to anyone. Up until the age of 42, I had no criminal record. Up to the age of 42, I was merely a campaigner for the human rights of children in Scotland. And when I was able to identify that these are the child abusers of the greatest extent of any form of child abuse going on in Scotland, they did what all criminals do. They took the risk of exposing themselves to get at me, to demonise me. And let me tell you, SNP party and all your members who are blind to the institutional child abuse that I speak of, you'll get to know and be embarrassed to be a part of that party by the time I'm finished. Or you will just go quietly and not speak of your views, because they are disgusting. It's disgusting to talk about misogyny and not look at the misogyny of the policies that are ranked against fathers and their children, that destroy families, destroy the economy because of the effect on these hard-working men, the men who support the feminists, the men who voted for the vote for everyone. Nicola Sturgeon talks about the 100 years to get women the vote, forgetting the 110 years that men and women took to get the vote. To talk about that 10-year gap when there's still a 30-year gap since we reformed family law, and not give the same attitude to the misogyny that still prevails in the family law system today and get it out. And we have the judges, and I can refer to my own case, denied contact, not just by the sheriff, but the sheriff principal, without any terms of reference. In other words, they gave no rationale for the decision, in which we all that participated in that case clearly did not hear any evidence that would support denying contact to the father of the child. Institutional child abuse. The judges are institutional child abusers. I'm a victim of them, and I hold no sway with these snake oil salesmen, these child abusers. They are going to go to jail. Trust me on that, and you're going to help me. Because either I stay in a country that respects children, or it abuses them. And let me tell you, you stay in a country that abuses children. They are used as financial instruments to rape the taxpayer. My case alone cost the taxpayer in Scotland £250,000. Yes, £250,000. What could we do with £250,000? Well, at the start we could have paid off my daughter's mother with 50,000. I guarantee you she would have changed her tune. Because she had no reason to have anything other than a wish. I don't want to deal with him. He's now a sperm donor. I've done with him. What kind of misogyny is that? And where's the word misandry? From the Cabinet Secretary Justice Humza Yousaf in his speech to conference, was I was standing outside with my loudspeaker telling them what's going to happen, and it is going to happen, and you're going to help me. They're child abusers. Humza Yousaf talks about misogyny. He doesn't know the etymology of the word. Misogyny includes things like opening the door for women. That's quite misogynistic. But I hope the best you could say it's patronising. But then he doesn't mention misandry. So if you introduce a piece of legislation under the Equality Act, and remember, yous are under the Equality Act, which exempts family law, which is against a parliamentary projection that they know they are abusive towards gender when it comes to family law. So that's why they exempted it. Harriet Harman, another sexist, who used to support paedophiles, remember, and still does probably in some strange way, but she won't admit it. But there's Nicola Sturgeon doing the same, denying parents their basic human rights for no other reason than they are male, and denying children their parents for no other reason than they are the male parent. What do you call that? I call it child abuse, and so should you.